the part of the Gita which says of the heart being unattached to external objects realizes the joy that is the self is bāhya-sparsheṣhvasaktātmā vindatyātmani yat sukham. Now, in our daily life, the practice of the witness has to always be active and alive. Now, this practice of witness, we should know, is that which even witnesses the ego. When it becomes a witness of that character, then it becomes the witness what the scriptures speak of as the self. You have to witness every phenomena that is happening. Now, for some serious consideration as an aspirant, if one understands what is being spoken of here as the nature of the witness, one will understand that the witness is alone. Because now the witness not just witnesses one's own mind, the witness witnesses the external phenomena happening in the mind as well. So for the witness, its own mind and body, and any other sensations, cognitions, perceptions coming in and through the body, even the sight of someone is still an object of witnessing. This is the heights in which one has to remain when one is the witness. The path to this witness consciousness is, you can say, to some extent morose, dark or sad, simply because in that keen, dizzy heights of observation, of witnessing, one only witnesses sight, sound, taste. One does not witness the phenomena called existence. It only witnesses whatever is perceived. And therefore, with that, there comes this knowledge that whatever I see as this world is really, or whatever I experience as this world, is only limited to my senses. Suppose if there's somebody very dear to me, but that dearness of that person is only limited to my eyes. If something happens to my eyes, I do not see the person. Something happens to my ears, I do not hear the person. So the whole existence of that which has value to me on an external reality is completely limited to my senses. And the shutting of my senses, as it happens during the moment of death, where the power of the sense organs with which we are able to see, hear, smell, touch, taste, all these things are withdrawn into the subtle body. So the whole world will be before you, which you thought was the world, but you will feel betrayed when the senses absorb themselves, because you'll realize that the world didn't exist first, your senses existed, and because of your senses, you saw the world. And this sense absorption, if one is mindful right now, one can see that this world exists only because of the senses. Then one will say that, oh no, I love people in my mind, people exist in my mind, there's connection with people in my mind. These are all fictional delusions that the mind creates. It wants to live. It creates a picture of its own, and it lives inside its own head. Suppose I have a son or a daughter living somewhere, and I say I think of my son and daughter in my head, and I always think about them. That doesn't mean you're really thinking about them. It is only you thinking about them with the character that you have made up in your own mind. Like the hologram entities that rise up in our own imagination. They do not exist. Just because you feel love for your daughter does not, or your son in your head, does not mean that love is traveling there. It is only traveling to the little puppet of an entity that you have made inside your own head. This is the other power of witnessing that comes. And that witnessing, you realize that this whole world of what is called the mind exists only in the mind. And thus, what remains is only the witness. So it's as if in the process of discrimination, we have destroyed the world, which is external but related to the senses, and which is mental but only related to name and form inside the mind. And the darkness that is there, when it is confronted and when the truth is sought, then slowly by grace the self is realized. When the self is realized, we realize that it is not nothingness, it is not emptiness, it is the totality of it. And the totality of it is what brings joy. This is not the joy of even the most subtle body in ourselves, of the Anandamaya Kosha. It is not even that. It is the joy of the knowledge of the self. And with that joy of the knowledge of the self, that which was first dark becomes bright, becomes full of light. And the perception of ours is no more the perception that this world is dead. No, this world is fully alive. But the thing that changes entirely is that this world is nothing but the self, and everything else is the self. But why such a process of darkness is imposed on us is simply because even without these practices, if one tells that everything is God, it is only a thought. It lasts only for a few seconds, and then again we get into the world of I, you, me, mine, and then superimposes a superficial thought saying all this is God, but we do not mean it. To be able to mean it, to be able to see God as it is, one has to go through the dark tunnels and wait for the light according to the Shastras and all the saints and sages who have realized the truth. The light exists, and that light becomes the light of the whole world. This is the bliss. Vindatyātmani et sukham is experienced by the yogi in the heart. And that joy is unalloyed. That joy is undecaying. And that is the bliss of Brahman. And that is why it says, Brahma-yoga-yukta-atmā, sukham akṣhayam aśhnute. That the yogi is completely absorbed in the joy of one's own self. The joy that comes here is the joy that comes after confronting darkness. This is to be remembered.